Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dane, your host of the Rock and Metal Guardian. Hope you're having a great day wherever you may find yourselves. Today is another retrospective episode, and today's retrospective is Aerosmith's Rock in the Hard Place. This came out in August of 1982, so by the time that I first heard it, I was a freshman in high school. I did not hear it when it came out over the summer, and I remember a good friend of mine at the time who was a friend not only in high school, but also from grammar school, my friend Wesley, and he and I remember had a brief but good conversation about how this was a comeback album, because he and I both were alluding to A Night in the Ruts, which we thought, I don't know how he feels about it today, but for me personally, this is an album I do not like. This album, however, is an album I'm quite fond of even today, and so for me personally, it holds up quite nicely. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about. And as far as sales go, this sold only 500,000 units, so it only went gold. I don't know if the band has tried to update the certification. In order to do that, every once in a while you have to get in touch with the company that does that and see, through streaming and other sales, that sort of thing, recent sales, that kind of thing. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the album. And first of all, I want to talk about the personnel here. I remember getting this on vinyl when it first came out. You have Steven Tyler on vocals, okay? You have Jimmy Crespo on guitar. And according to the liner notes, you have Rick Dufay on guitar as well. Come back to that in a minute. You have Joey Kramer on drums, and you have Tom Hamilton on bass. Now, it says additional musicians. You have Brad Whitford, who's the rhythm guitar on Lightning Strikes, and he left in the middle of the recordings or during the recordings because he was not happy. I don't remember the whole reasons why. The band is in still turmoil, carrying over from A Night in the Ruts, hence the lineup changes. You have two new guitarists, and it's come to my attention recently that Rick Dufay does not play on this album at all, despite the fact that he's listed here. Here's Jimmy Crespo, looks a lot like the previous guitarist, right? Joe Perry. Coincidence or not, you tell me. Look at all the smoke surrounding Mr. Dufay right here. I remember getting this, and then my dad's like, "Come here, bring it to me," because he was an Aerosmith band. He was an Aerosmith fan from the earlier stuff. His favorite song, of course, was "Dream On," and by this time he had stopped listening to them, wasn't a big fan anymore. But he says, "Bring this to me, let me take a look," and he made a comment about how he didn't like what he he didn't like what he saw. Anyway, sometimes the brain just works faster than the tongue, or the other way around. I'm not sure which. So let's talk about the track listing. And I love the synergy of the listing here. Jailbait starts us off. Lightning Strikes, Bitches Brew, Bolivian Ragamuffin, Cry Me a River, Prelude to Janie, which is an introduction to the next song, Joni's Butterfly, Rock in a Hard Place, the title track, which has the subtitle in parentheses, Cheshire Cat, Jig is Up, and then Push Comes to Shove. So you have the album cover. Oops, I should have just led with that. Album cover, Stonehenge. I showed you the back, and then you get some color photos here of the band in various collages, right? And then you get the black and white stuff on the back. Oops, go this way. And more Stonehenge, right, with the liner notes. And like I said, I truly believe this was a great comeback album. Anyway, so let's go track by track. As I said, the album opens up with Jailbait, and right off the bat, you have Steven Tyler just going at it. This is a heavy album, no doubt about it. If you think Rocks is heavy, this is a borderline hard rock, heavy metal blues, if you will. So Aerosmith's still in their bluesy hard rock vein, right? But it has more of a heavier feel to it because of the first two songs, Jailbait and Lightning Strikes. Lightning Strikes was the MTV hit off this album about fighting in the streets, gang warfare, that sort of thing. And the video is terrible, but so Jailbait and Lightning Strikes right off the back just hits you over the head, heavy, fast and furious. I love it. And then you get to Bitches Brew, which is not as heavy as the first two songs, but it's really powerful in its own right. And as far as lyrics go, I think this is one of Aerosmith's strongest albums, lyrically speaking, despite the fact that it's not the original lineup. You just have 3 of the original members here. And Bitches Brew is a song, when I used to throw Halloween parties, I would always put this on the playlist. Then you get to Bolivian Ragamuffin, which has some great cowbell in it. It's heavy. So right off the bat, you have 4 songs that are just fantastic, and they're downright phenomenal. And then what's a nice treat is the 5th song. Again, I had this on vinyl in high school. You get the cover tune of their Aerosmith's version of Cry Me a River, and this is powerful. It's a slow song, but in Aerosmith fashion, they make it their own, because at a certain point, Steven Tyler takes it up like 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 notches really, and just begins to belt. So it starts off slow, and then it gets heavy in a Steven Tyler sense, instead of just the slow, normal way we expect from the original version of the song. It's amazing. And so, as you know, Aerosmith is known for having a cover tune, at least one on each album, going all the way back to their first album, if not definitely their second. And this when I first saw this, and I was like, is that the old, lounge act song, crooner song, or whatever you want to call it, ballroom song? And sure enough, it is, but it's great. It works. I don't think too many bands could pull that off, and I think only Aerosmith could do that, right? Then side 2, I remember hearing Prelude to Janie for the first time, and on the back of this album, this was not the back of the vinyl. The back of the vinyl was what I showed you earlier, was this. But you get the lyrics for Prelude to Janie, which is about the birth of a horse, and as an animal lover, I'm quite fond of that. I'm not going to read all the lyrics here, but and as I said, at first I thought I was kind of taken aback, because I think it's Steven Tyler's voice. I'm pretty sure it is, but it's his voice is altered to sound mechanical, maybe through a vocoder or something of that effect. So it has a creepy feeling to it. I thought it was quite disturbing at first, but now I'm quite fond of it. It's the weakest track on the album, but I still like it. And it's meant to be paired with the major song that follows. Because it's called Prelude to Janie, it's essentially an introduction to Jonie's Butterfly, the same way the instrumental prelude, or similarly rather, the instrumental prelude is the opening part of the Judas Priest song Tyrant. Anyway, so, and the lyrics here, is, as I said, very poetic, treated as a poem. It's very thought-provoking. There's a lot of imagery here, and so I'll read part of it. But at first, to my eyes only, feathers, wings. The butterflies flew up in such colors, exploding all around us. The rest I did not see, till there he stood, all eyes in wonder. Who me, who you, look. And it says, Prelude to Janie by Steven Tyler. So, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And then it gets heavy after that. So it was a kick-ass rockin' horse as part of the lyrics. And while the whole album doesn't have that haiku-type lyric feel to it, there was a lot of that haiku-type lyrics. And if you're wondering, what on earth are you talking about? Well, I didn't come up with this idea. I remember reading Hit Parade magazine, and it may have been for this album or not, but I don't think it was. It was just kind of a rundown of where Aerosmith were so far in their career, and the critic reviewing the band in general, or whatever album it was, or what albums it were, was talking about. Once again, Tyler has those wonderful haiku-like lyrics, or haiku type. Are his lyrics totally haikus? No, but they have a haiku feel about them, or they have a haiku feel to them, I should say. So maybe that will alter your listening experience if you tune in for it, right? Anyway, so I love this introduction, and then Joni's Butterfly deals with the cult or Mayor being born, and then it's rock, and it's not heavy. I would say heavy, but it has a heaviness to it because it just plain rocks. Like I said, the lyrics, he was a kick-ass rockin' horse, right? So it's really cool. Then, probably the heaviest song on the album is the title track, Rockin' a Hard Place. Great lyrics. It's fun. Sing along, even though it's heavy. Not a lot of heavy songs, right? You sing to, I guess. Maybe not. And there's my favorite part of the song is just smiling just like a cat, and then you hear the sample of a cat angrily meowing. It's just amazing. It's so powerful. I love this album. The last two songs on the album are Jig Is Up and Push Comes to Shove. And while, in my estimation, these are the weakest of the two songs on the album, they're not weak at all. So it's a contradiction, if you will. They're just not what we've gotten so far on the album. Neither of these songs is like Cry Me a River, slow, then build up to a more heavier crescendo, if you will. Neither of them have the pounding, hitting you over the head, hard rock or / heavy metal stylings. But Jig Is Up and Push Comes to Shove, I still think are wonderful. Jig Is Up has that opening howl of Steven Tyler, very bluesy, and he's doing that kind of ba-ba-da-ba-doo-da thing, right? But it's heavy and bluesy, as I said. Haiku-type lyrics. You have some harmonica. And the phrasing from Tyler is just superb here. So I would call it a heavy blues song. It's just great. And then the closer, Push Comes to Shove, begins with a more noticeable harmonica. It's more up front in the mix, and it's more of, instead of a heavy blues song, this is more of a ballroom blues type song. And like the previous song, Jig Is Up, Tyler is singing back and forth between a high register vocal styling and a lower register vocal styling, and it's great. So this album, for me personally, is just, I listen to this all the time, even though it's so old. Go figure. That's most of us who like music are not bothered by age of an album or a song, right? I would say for the most part. So if you haven't heard this in a while, put it on tonight, put it on today or tomorrow, right? This is great. So tell me what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts. Do you think this is a turd? Do you think this is stellar in the way that I think it is? I would have to say, while this is not a masterpiece or legendary, I think this is great. That's how much, in my estimation. At some point, I'm going to do my ranking of my favorite Aerosmith albums because I don't like everything by them. I think this would be, I have to think about it, but I think this would be in my top 5, if not my top 3. Rocks is my favorite. I'll go ahead and tell you that now. So thank you so much for watching. Please post in the comments what your thoughts are about this album and tell me what you think about some of these songs. Oh, I did want to say something else about this album. I almost forgot, and that's why I had my phone out, because I was looking up on Wikipedia regarding something the drummer said. Joey Kramer in his 2009 autobiography, Hit Hard, A Story of Hitting Rock Bottom at the Top. There's some real good stuff on it, speaking of Rockin' the Hard Place. But it's not a real Aerosmith record because it's just me, Steven, and Tom Hamilton with a fill-in guitar player. It's Jimmy Crespo doing the guitar work. Well, a lot of people, myself included, would say Uriah Heep without David Byron is still Uriah Heep. Deep Purple with Tommy Bolin is still Deep Purple, etc., etc. So I'm going to disagree with Joey Kramer here. To me, this is, and I think Tyler said something along the same lines, and the bass player as well. To me, this is still an Aerosmith album, and it's sad that they couldn't make more albums that sound like this, but they had to go bring in the outside songwriters, Desmond Child, and all that, and go the pop route like Def Leppard did, right? So anyway, thanks again for watching. Please post in the comments your thoughts on this album, yay or nay, in between, that kind of thing. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye now.